CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
The land sale is contentious. The issue of land use in the Jordan River area brought out a crowd in Souk last night and is expected to do so again in Victoria later this evening. 2 years ago, the Capital Regional District paid nearly $10 million to purchase 187 hectares of land at Jordan River from Western Forest Products. The wilderness land had been part of a tree farm license, and now the CRD is exploring which parcel of it should be set aside for the Jordan River Regional Park Reserve boundary and which part of the land can be declared surplus. Last night, the CRD opened the floor to the public.
First, we want to know about what do people value about these properties. So we have a comment form that they can fill out. We have maps where we're, inviting people to mark on the maps, the properties, their favorite areas, what they know about the properties.
These are critical lands, I think, for the CRD to protect. We have some concerns about the contamination on some of the Western Forest Products land.
The parks are critical. People come to this area for them. People live in this area for them.
Development in the Jordan River area has been controversial for years. There's another public input session that happens tonight at the Ambrosia Conference Centre in Victoria from 6 till 9 o'clock. A report from those public meetings will go to the Regional Parks Committee, and recommendations may go to the CRD board by early this summer. An endangered killer whale has been tagged just off the shores of Vancouver Island. American researchers have successfully attached a satellite tag to the fin on a male orca. The whale is part of a southern pod, which calls the waters off southern Vancouver Island its home. Killer whales have been classified as endangered in the U.S. So far, analysts have tracked the whale for hundreds of kilometers, swimming in the Juan de Fuca Strait between Vancouver Island and Washington. The goal of all of this is to find out where the pod travels over winter and what the orcas eat. An interim report looking at Canada's residential school system is calling for changes to the public school curriculum across the country for a history lesson on the residential schools. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission says all provinces and territories should develop residential school education materials for students in the public school system. The report also suggests that schools hold education campaigns about the history and the impact of the residential schools. It's also requesting a framed copy of the Prime Minister's historic formal apology to residential school survivors, and that it be displayed in every secondary school in the country. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission delivers its final report in 2014, and the Commission comes to Vancouver Island next week. Its first forum on the island is slated for Port Hardy on Monday. As the rail bridge disappears, it looks as though the E&N rail line will not feel the rumble of the Dayliner anytime soon. A federal transportation committee says it will not recommend any federal funding to upgrade the ailing line. The Island Corridor Foundation was banking on the federal government to match the $7.5 million already pledged by the province. The money was going to be used for much-needed track, rail bed, and tie improvement and bridge upgrades. The E&N line has been idle for passenger service for nearly a year because of safety concerns. Well, Vic PD asking for your help tonight. They're trying to find a young girl who went missing last week, and police believe that she could be in some danger. Cheyenne McGregor was last seen on February 7th on her way to Tsawwassen. Police believe the 16-year-old is traveling with an older couple, Adrian Roberge and Nadia Kelter. Roberge is under a court order to have no contact with the teenager. Police say McGregor is First Nations, 5'6", about 110 pounds. She has green eyes, long blonde hair with facial piercings. If you see her or know her whereabouts, you are asked to contact Victoria Police. Well, the province is scrapping the tax on aviation fuel for international flights. That was in the budget Tuesday, and hopes that will lead to more planes cooling their jets on our runways. The government says the move will make BC airports more competitive, and Vancouver Island airports are facing tough competition as it is. Although Nanaimo and Comox have done significant upgrades to attract new business, the fuel tax has kept some airlines from signing on. New airlines will mean more jobs, and the province says that's a benefit to everyone.
Many international carriers were looking forward to this. They've been in discussions, I know, with YVR about the possibility of increasing their international flights if this became a reality. It did. I know the response has been very, very favorable. For every new international flight that comes into YVR, it generates about 150 to 200 direct jobs at the airport, an airport that already employs over 23,000 people. So very significant impact on the economic situation here in our province.
Alberta, Washington, and California have an advantage over BC because they do not have a tax on jet fuel. Ours will be eliminated in April. The transportation minister says he hopes that air traffic in the province and on the island picks up soon after that. The Ladysmith Historical Society is getting ready to open the doors of its new museum. The Historical Society already operates the Ladysmith Archives, which will remain in the basement of the Tim Hortons building. The new museum will be in a building on First Avenue. It is slated to be torn down in favor of a new development, but that's not going to happen for 2 years. In the meantime, the space will become a museum.
Right out of the blue, the Ladysmith Credit Union offered us the use of this building rent-free for 2 to 3 years. So we're hoping when we make a success of this, we will, that we will get another place. The town will find us somewhere to go.
The museum will house some of Ladysmith's artifacts and historical displays. The Society says it will offer a window into Ladysmith's past that has been closed for decades.
We want to tell the story of Ladysmith's history. Ladysmith is such an interesting town because most places kind of grew up bit by bit, a house here, a house there. Ladysmith was an instant town. Dunsmuir set it up as where his miners were going to live when they worked in his coal mine and extension. And so he set it up and laid out the streets and laid out the cross streets.
Volunteers are needed to staff the museum. Its doors will open on May 19th.